Hey everyone, welcome in, welcome in. Welcome to From Idea to Impact, Easy Content Marketing with Canva and Issuu. We're going to get started in just a bit. We'll let everyone else trickle in and probably start about a minute after the hour. Feel free to introduce yourselves in the chat, pop in your name, where you're joining from today, what sort of industry you're in, or content you create. It's always great to see who everyone is in our live webinars. Welcome, folks. We've got some good content in store for you today. You've joined a solid webinar. Good insights. Welcome in. Got an international crowd today. It's always great to see. The webinar will be recorded. Good question. And it will be sent out via email. So anyone who registered for the webinar, even if you have to leave early or unable to attend live, you'll get that recording in your email inbox just shortly after we finish the live session. It's great to see the different industries people joining are in. Always a diverse crowd. Awesome. All right, we'll give it just one more minute before we dive in. See some people in marketing and sales, event marketing. We're going to talk about some of these industries in a little bit more detail today. So be sure to stick around. Amazing education. Great. Bunch of different people today. It's awesome to see. All right. And with that, let's kick it off and get into this presentation. Again, as I mentioned, this is going to be recorded. So if you have to leave early or you want to share this with a teammate, you can do that. Welcome to From Idea to Impact, Easy Content Marketing with Canva and Issuu. We have a special guest on the call today, who I'll introduce shortly. But my name is Talius. If you've attended another Issuu webinar, you've seen me before. I am a demand marketing manager here at Issuu. And I'm a Chicago native, a coffee lover, and I race bicycles in my spare time. But I'll hand it over to Warren, our special guest today from Canva, to introduce himself.
Yeah, hello everyone. Warren Chen here. I head up Ecosystem Go-to-Market Partnerships and Developer Success here at Canva. I've been at Canva for just under 2 years. And a couple fun facts. I was a Boy Scout, so did quite a bit of hiking and outdoor activities as a teenager. I spent a dozen years in Chicago, so it was Talis's neighbor, and that's where I actually met my wife. We were actually at a pretty well-known sports bar, the Globe, or soccer bar, the Globe in Chicago, and we were fighting over some chairs for a big soccer match, and that turned into a pretty much day-long date. So a couple fun facts about me.
That's awesome. And thank you again, Warren. It's always a pleasure chatting with you. And we're going to have some good Canva and Issuu insights today, which brings us to the main topic of our webinar, which is Issuu's new app for Canva. We also have Audrey, our head of customer success, on the call today. She is going to be helping answer all of your questions and comments that you can pop into the Q&A below. So that brings us to what I just said. The chat and Q&A are open below. The chat is what you have been introducing yourselves in. And then also on your Zoom menu, you should have a Q&A function. And with that, you can pop in specific questions. So we ask that if you have specific questions, you put it into the Q&A, not the chat, just because there's so many messages in the chat that we might miss them. And we want to make sure we get to all of your questions. Again, these slides are resources, and this presentation are resources for you. So you're going to receive the slides and the recording after the call. And the main section of this webinar today is going to be the presentation. We're going to walk through the benefits of using Issuu and Canva together, the impact that that has to professionals in marketing, sales, HR, and creative professionals. Dive into some specific users and inspiration that those users can offer, and then do a full app demo. And then we will have a live Q&A at the end. So I know many of you on the call today are familiar with Issuu, but I will do kind of a brief refresher if you haven't used Issuu in a while, or if you're not familiar with our platform and what we do. Go play a short video. We enable anyone to upload, customize, publish, and analyze long-form digital content, and then share that content to pretty much any channel. So you can upload from any source, including this integration with Canva, and then you can customize that with links and video. And then once you've customized and finalized that document, you can share it out on pretty much any digital channel as a link, as a GIF, as a QR code on social media. And then you can go back and you can take a look at the stats that are stats for that specific publication or for all your publications. And you can actually do that within Canva now, which we will talk about in more depth later. And Warren, I'll hand it off to you. I know everyone on this call should be familiar with Canva, but we'll let you talk about a few details that people might not be aware of when it comes to the Canva platform.
Sure. So if you can go to the next slide. So Canva was founded in 2013, and we've basically had one goal since our founding, which is empowering the world to design. Next slide. And in that first decade, we celebrated our 10-year anniversary last year. We've really seen a lot of amazing growth in terms of empowering individuals to create posters, to create social media posts, designs for generally their personal use. You can see some of the numbers here in terms of what the type of success we've seen with the adoption of Canva. 185 million monthly active users, users in over 190 countries, 25 billion plus designs created, and designs being created in over 100 languages. Wild success, and we definitely want to keep building on this. As Mel and Cliff, our two founders, always say, we're really only 1% of the way there, and we truly feel that way. And that kind of leads us to our next decade, which is really empowering businesses to design. So if you go to the next slide, this is where the work that I've been doing with the app ecosystem and just enabling partners such as Issuu build integrations, build applications within Canva really comes into play, right? Like, we have done a great job of building a great set of tools to make it really easy for almost anyone to create really high quality professional looking designs. But as we start empowering businesses and teams to build to do the same thing, they're already using other SaaS tools out there. They're already using other SaaS products like Issuu to distribute their content. That's how those tools are already key to their workflow. So Canva plus those tools is kind of like what ecosystem's all about. How do we empower more seamless workflow between those between Canva and all those tools that those individuals in their professional lives are using. So we launched our ecosystem last June, or our newest version of the ecosystem last June. And we have seen explosive growth in the name of 250 apps similar to Issuu built within Canva. Just this past June, we made an announcement about some REST APIs, Connect APIs, to really incorporate Canva designs, Canva workflow into other tools. So kind of embedding Canva in those other SaaS tools, which we're really excited about, kind of like really helping to enable Canva get more integrated into some of those key workflows that we're talking about. And there's a lot of benefits that this has for content marketers. Bringing in outside assets into the Canva platform. We want to bring in all the content possible. We want to make sure that there's collaboration between Canva and those other tools, whether it's like a project management tool like Asana, or like being able to bring in your content from a DAM or a content management system. Those are, kind of some examples of the types of apps that we have. And and all this is in the name of, creating efficiency within that workflow. How do you make that workflow super seamless with Canva integrated into it?
And I think that aligns really nicely with kind of our ethos here at Issuu, which is all about making, improving the whole design and marketing workflow and making that more efficient. So I think it's really fantastic that Canva has that similar outlook and has created this Canva apps ecosystem that Issuu is a part of, and just makes the tool, I think, so much more effective for, like you said, not just individual creators, but large teams and global enterprises. So now let's dive into the specifics of Issuu's app for Canva. What does this look like? What are the features, capabilities, and who does this benefit? So for some context, why did we at Issuu go about building this app? So throughout the past couple of years, even before we created the app on Canva, we noticed a spike and a rapid growth in Canva users publishing to Issuu. So I think this speaks not just to the increasing popularity of Canva. Warren was mentioning the really impressive stats in their growth earlier, but also to the natural link that Canva users see between the content they're creating and the benefits that a tool like Issuu provides when it comes to transforming and customizing and sharing that content. So we went about building this app, and we've seen an even greater increase in the connection between those Canva users and publishing to Issuu. And as I mentioned briefly, there's also these compatible principles when it comes to democratizing design and content marketing. So putting tools and streamlined connections and capabilities into the hands of everyone from, a student working on a project to a marketing manager in a global corporation, being able to have access to these tools, even if you aren't, classically trained or professionally trained in design or in marketing. So being able to go from initial ideation and design all the way to analyzing the success of the final marketing campaign. That's what we aim to do with this connection between Canva and Issuu. And then, as I mentioned, streamline the full publishing workflow. So going from start to finish, all in one go. So Warren, can you talk a bit about what the advantages are from Canva's perspective, or from the perspective of a Canva user now having Issuu, that connection, that link? Warren, I think you're muted.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, so it really comes down to kind of like that seamless workflow that we've been both talking a bit about, right? Like it's that quick, effective on brand design. So like designing in Canva, with the tools that you're used to, making sure that you're staying on brand. Especially this is applicable for those teams and enterprise users of Canva, where we have the brand kit. The tools allow you to kind of collaborate within Canva on those designs. So all of those team members can kind of comment, share feedback, provide real-time input as you're designing. And to kind of power all of this and kind of give you a head start, there's a lot of templates, and we've been introducing more magic, artificial intelligence, AI, into our capabilities to really help jumpstart and make this design process even more straightforward. There's a lot of design block, of just getting started. You can use some of these tools like the templates, like Magic AI, to kind of give you a little bit of a jump start, to kind of give you some inspiration as you're designing.
Yep, and I love that inspiration is part of the Canva platform. And I think from the perspective of Issuu users, Issuu is a tool that is used for transforming content that you already have, and then sharing that and making it better, and then from that creating other content to share across social channels. But I think where Canva kind of completes the loop is when it comes to the initial creation process and that inspiration and that ideation on your designs, and then you can move right into Issuu and then move immediately kind of from the design into that content marketing and distribution flow. So you can go from that Canva creation to the Issuu publication very seamlessly.
Yeah, and that's spot on, right? Like we have all the tools to kind of get your content into Canva, to do the designing in Canva with our, really straightforward, easy to use user experience. We have some, kind of predefined publish points, ways to kind of get the content out, but applications, partners such as Issue kind of really superpower that. They can make it a lot more seamless and much more intelligent in terms of like how they're doing that publishing.
Yep. So now let's take a look at some specific professional use cases. We're going to walk through marketing, creative professionals, sales, and HR. And these are use cases that Canva has put an emphasis on recently. So I'll walk through kind of what the specifics of how people in these industries need tools like Canva and Issue. So for marketing professionals, marketing teams, that looks like needing new solutions to improve visual communication, collaboration, and time to market. So when, I think marketing teams across the world are feeling like they have to produce a greater number of assets, they have to produce more campaigns that are more effective than ever before. And then you need to be able to actually have really effective collaboration and increase the time it takes to go from thinking about what the campaign should be to analyzing it and improving it for the next campaign. And this is why marketers need tools like Canva and Issue. If you're a creative professional, whether you are a freelance designer or you work in-house at a global or like a large enterprise, you need tools that allow your actual creativity to flourish and remove bottlenecks. So you don't want to spend all your time on, changing file types and more logistical, menial tasks. You want to be able to actually let that creativity flourish and to produce really high quality designs. If you are in a sales team or you are a salesperson, you need to be able to craft customized and engaging content at speed to reach key decision makers. So for sales teams, it's all about being able to quickly create content that's effective at, like I said, reaching those key decision makers and making the impact that you need to make in as short a time as possible. Again, this is why that link between Canva and Issue is so valuable. And then if you work on an HR team, you need an effective medium for providing information and dispensing information across global teams, especially this day and age where not everyone is in the same office together. You need effective ways to visually communicate with the globally dispersed teams. And Warren, can you talk a bit about, like I mentioned, these are industries and use cases that Canva is focusing on, which you mentioned, the Canva Create event. Can you just speak a little bit more to that?
Yeah, I mean, so, when we were kind of meeting Talis and I to kind of like prepare for this presentation, and he showed me these, 4 areas, these line up, exactly with kind of like the 4 areas that we're really looking to enable and grow usage of Canva beyond those individuals, right? Like we're not gonna, but we're still really focused on making, having the best design tool for individuals to create, really professional looking designs. But as we start turning into like more collaborative workflows, into like, enabling small, teams from, 5 to, thousands to kind of use Canva as a collaboration platform, these are the segments of users that we're really focused on. Marketing and creative, very obvious as, areas that Canva would want to be focused on. But other areas that we know kind of like work closely with like the marketing creative teams are the sales teams, our HR teams, right? Like they have a lot of needs that are very similar, to, creatives and marketing, where they're trying to like, create a lot of assets, maybe localize it for, different languages, different locales of their offices, things like that. Sales and HR have those same types of challenges, when it comes to taking their, professionally designed content and then, adapting it for some of those other audiences. Canva is a great tool that can enable that, and Issue is a great tool for taking that content and really publishing it, distributing it more widely.
And I think, even when I was, watching Canva create, and I noticed that these 4 use cases synced really nicely with the content that we see produced on Issue, and that the teams that we are also trying to enable here at Issue, whether you are an individual creator or, like you said, moving into slightly larger organizations. And then we just have some additional details about what content are people in these industries actually creating. So if you're a marketer, that might look like a portfolio, an agency portfolio, a press kit, a brand book, or client presentation. If you are a creative professional, that could be a brand kit, your personal portfolio, or a mood board. For sales, that often looks like presentations, proposals, slide decks. And then for HR, that can be anything from onboarding materials, media briefings, all hands presentations, etc. And all of this content can be created in Canva and then can be uploaded and distributed via Issuu. And this is kind of just the start. So this is not the start and end of the content that each of these individuals or these use cases can create and distribute in these platforms. So now to continue to provide more detail, we have a few specific examples. And these examples are all Canva and Issuu users. So all of the content that you see here has been created in Canva and then uploaded and distributed via Issuu. So this first one is a marketing event brochure. I remember someone in the webinar chat saying they worked in events. So this is an example of a tech summit, and this is their brochure. So as you can see, they have everything from benefits of the program, various package opportunities, to, again, these package levels, and then the full agenda for the program. And now I just have listed here some Issuu and Canva features that really apply to that specific use case. So if you are working in marketing or events, you can embed purchase links to sponsor packages or drive traffic to existing sponsors' websites using the Issuu link feature. You can generate QR codes so that in-person show attendees can access your document. And then in Canva, you can browse hundreds of brochure templates and use Magic Write to assist with on-brand copy creation. That's one of those AI tools Warren mentioned earlier. And then let's say you are a creative professional. This is an example of a pitch deck, which I'll move over to here. So as you can see here, this was created in Canva and uploaded to Issuu. And this creative professional, this would be something that you share with a client to showcase what it looks like going through the branding and brand design process. And if you are a creative professional, some Issuu and Canva tools or specific features that apply to you, you can link to a personal website, a social media account, or additional resources within a portfolio or a pitch deck that you share using Issuu. You can then embed that deck or portfolio on your personal website to drive traffic to that piece of content, and then share with potential clients, contacts, or connections via the full screen reader, which we'll demo later. And then Canva, those core Canva capabilities of being able to upload your own artwork or use all of the available assets that Canva already has stocked in the platform makes it a really effective way to quickly create this sort of content, especially if you're an individual creator. And then moving on to the final example we're looking at today, we've already talked a bit about the sales use case, and this is sort of a real estate bend on that. So this is a seller's guide, which we'll take a look at here. So as you can see here, this is the sort of thing where it may be a company-wide, a realty service template, and then is customized by the specific agent to apply to if it's a specific listing or just add their specific bio. And again, this is created in Canva and uploaded to and shared via Issuu. So as you can see, even within these three examples, we've gone from a pitch deck to an event brochure to real estate. So the opportunities are pretty endless. And then for people in the sales use case, you can generate QR codes to share sales materials in person, and then use our Issuu for Teams feature, which we'll dive into later, to organize workspaces by market. And Canva, I know, Warren, we were chatting about this earlier, has some really exciting autofill features coming down the line that enable branded templates to be specified and autofilled for individuals. And then you can use that brand kit, which we'll also take a look at in the demo, to empower sales team members to quickly edit and share as needed.
Yeah, just to kind of expand a little bit on this, this is one area where with our new REST APIs, Connect APIs, and the power of brand kits, we're starting to see a lot of interest from real estate companies in kind of using this for the corporate team to kind of put together like templates for like a brochure, a one pager, like maybe even social media posts around like new property listings. And using the MLS data to kind of make it really quick for those agents to kind of get a really professionally looking assets created. And like the power of the brand kits and the autofill capabilities and the Connect API combined really helps make this very easy for real estate agents. They don't want to be spending a lot of time creating the assets. They want to be finding new clients to work with.
And that's what we see too when you're looking at a real estate company's profile and Issuu. You often see very similar looking documents, but they're specific to office or they're specific to agent. And then so you need this template, and then you just need to autofill your specific information there or information for a specific listing. So that use case makes a lot of sense when it goes from starting in Canva, moving to Issuu. And then, as I mentioned as well, one use case we see when it comes to real estate and salespeople in general is the QR code feature, because this is an industry that's often very in person, just as it is digital. You need a way to kind of bridge that gap. So having the QR code that takes you right to the Issuu document is really an effective way to do that. So now we've gotten to the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's dive into a full demo. Can we all see Canva here? Great. So kind of to start this process of using Issue's app in Canva, you're going to start with creating a piece of content in Canva. But I'd like to highlight a few of the features within Canva that we talked about already in this presentation. So the first of which is this brand kit that I like to mention here, because we actually use this at Issuu. And you can see this is our Issuu brand kit that we've created within Canva. So especially if you are in a larger team, and like we were just talking about, if you have multiple team members creating specific assets, whether that's, you have a marketing team member creating a brochure, you have a sales team member creating their sales assets, or you have a designer or a social media person working in Canva, this is a great way to expedite that process, have all the colors available, have all the logos, have all the fonts, and you can get even more detailed than this. But I like to point this out because this is a great way to just jumpstart that creation process like we were chatting about. The other thing I want to mention is that if you go back to home here, and then you navigate to templates on the left side, and if you go into work kits, you'll actually see these same industries we were just talking about. So marketing, sales, HR, and creative. So within these categories, there's a variety of inspiration or specific Canva designs that you can customize in Canva and then upload to Issuu. And so that's what we're actually going to do today. We're going to go into this marketing work kit, and we're going to scroll down to this social media style guide that I found. So click on that and then click customize. And this will open up the Canva editor that we all know we've all used before, and is just as seamless and easy to use as always. So at this point, you'd go in and customize it, add your brand colors using that brand kit, change the copy using Magic Write, and so on and so forth until you're happy with that final product. And then once you're happy with this final product, this is where Issuu comes into play. And so you're going to navigate to the left-hand side here, go all the way down to the app menu. As you can see, there's an Issuu logo right here, which means this is our most recently used integration. We've already connected to it. But for first-time users of this app, click into apps here. And right now you can actually find Issuu as the top featured app, which is great to see. But you can also just search for Issuu right here, and that will pop up. And you can go ahead and click that. So now what you see here is this ability to generate a preview of your content. You can see what this content you've just created in Canva looks like as a flipbook, an embed, a GIF, or a social post. And you can export this document to preview without actually going through the full process of connecting to Issuu. So if you're just like not sure what it's going to look like in Issuu, when you want to take a look at what that looks like, see, kind of flip through it without having to go through the full publishing process, we've kind of baked this into the app so you can do that really easily. But let's say you're like, all right, this is it. This is the final product. I want to upload that to Issuu. Go ahead and click connect here on the bottom, and then connect to your Issuu account. So you will have to already have a pre-existing Issuu account, and you can do that on issue.com, create your account for the first time. So go ahead and connect here. And then we'll just log in with our issue account. So now this is taking you to the logged in state of the app. And as you can see, we have drafts and published. So this is everything we have is drafts and is published on Issue's issue account. When you first connect, you will see everything in your personal issue account, or if you've not published yet, this will all be blank. So now you can go ahead and export this draft to Issue. Go ahead and export that. You can select the number of pages you export. For most use cases, that will just be all of the pages within your document. This may take a few moments. There we go. And this depends on just the size of your document. There we go. So now that this piece of content has been uploaded or has been published as a draft, you can see it's listed as unpublished, which means that this content is not actually live on Issue yet. So there's just a few more steps to have that complete. So you can see this is a link to the draft. So it's not been fully uploaded because there's a few more settings you can select within Canva before you publish that. So go ahead and click publish. And here you have some settings that you normally have to navigate into Issue to view, but you can edit the title here. This looks good for us. And then you can change the availability. What does this mean? Having it listed as public means that it appears on your public Issue profile. So anyone can navigate to your profile on Issue and view this content. It'll appear under your profile. However, if you want it to be unlisted, that means that only people with a link to this content are able to access it. So it's just a way of kind of gating this content, making it a bit more private. For example, if you are in HR and you want to just only share this with members of your company, you'd want to mark this as unlisted, which we will do for the sake of this demo. And then you're good to go. Go ahead and confirm and publish. And you get this little notification, success, your publication is live. And now you can go ahead and click this publication link. But one thing I want to mention is, let's say you've published it to Issue, but you realize you've got a couple typos, or you receive a request that you need to change some of the images to align more with your brand. You can go ahead and make all those changes in Canva just as you would normally, and then click this re-upload button, and that automatically updates the link or updates that piece of content within Issue without changing the link. So if you've already shared this link with people and then you're like, oh man, I have to go and make these changes, you can re-upload here within Canva, and the link is up and the content is updated, but the link maintains the same. So you don't have to go out and send new links to everyone. So it's a really seamless way to do that. And one thing I like to make a note of. So go ahead and then click this, and this will take you now, we're going to move into Issue. And here we are in the Issue publishing workspace. And this is what it looks like if you upload from any source, if you're a current Issue user. And now you have the social media style guide uploaded from Canva. You can get this full flippable effect. It looks really seamless and is a great way to share this piece of content. And then you can see here as well, this is the title that we set within Canva, and it's the availability is marked as unlisted, which we also set within Canva. You can then go ahead and add a description if you like, or select a variety of other settings, such as a publication type. You can mark that. You can set a backdate if you like, or allow downloads. So this means that if someone's reading your publication on Issue, they can actually download it to their own device, and detected links. So if you have a link written out within the copy of your publication, and you indicate and you select this as on, then that link is automatically hyperlinked. So just a variety of additional settings. And what we're going to look at now is how you can amplify and make this piece of content even more effective. So one of the best ways to do that is by adding links into this content, links and video. So we're going to show how to do that. That's just going to be on the left-hand side. Click this linking button. And then we have a pretty easy drag and drop editor here, which is how our link builder is set up. So you can select any page within your content that you want to add links to. And then I think that this space right here within this phone would be a great place to add a video. So we're going to go ahead and drag and drop that area where we want to add the video. And then you're going to click insert video here, and you can upload a Vimeo or YouTube video. So you have to have it published on one of those platforms. We're going to go ahead and copy this link and then go back in here and then just paste this video. So Command V, and then you have a variety of settings here. So it can either play in an overlay, kind of like a pop-up, or it can actually be embedded within the space that we've drag and dropped. So because we want it to fit within this phone, we're going to do embed in publication. We'll do embed in autoplay. So go ahead and save that. And then you can actually preview what that looks like. What you can also do, though, is before we make that final change, you can add other links to your content. So let's go to the first page here. And let's say you want this to link out to your website. So you can go ahead and just add whatever website page you want. For the sake of this, we'll just do issuu.com. And you can go ahead and save that. Before I do, I want to point out that you can also add shopping links and go to page links. And what do these links do? Shopping links is great if you're making a catalog and you have, let's say, a photo of the products, and you want those photos to be clickable and go to the actual purchase page on your website. You can do that here. And if you're creating a table of contents in the first couple of pages and you want to click on a button and have that take you to, page 7, page 8, you can do that here. So for this link, we'll go ahead and save that. And now we're going to click continue here. And as you can see, we now have this clickable link on page 1. And if we go into the next page, we have this link as well. So as you can see, you can then watch this video directly within your content. You can zoom in and that starts auto playing. So it just makes the piece of content that you've already created really dynamic and much more of a multimedia experience. It's not just this flat PDF. It's a great way to read and experience and present that piece of content. So now we'll go through a few of the sharing capabilities that we have within Issuu. The first of which is that full screen sharing link that I mentioned. So that editor is going to be on the right-hand side, full screen sharing. So as you can see how we have this full screen sharing background, which is this brown, which I don't love. And we're going to change that to, let's do this color. We'll do this color, which is a little bit better, nice mossy green. And it really complements the piece of content that you've just created. You can go ahead and select what start page. So if you want to share a link to your content, but have that link open up on page 3 or page 5, you can select that there. You can also select a page layout. So you can mark that as single page, which means that when you flip, it only shows you half of that total spread. So again, just options here to cater this link to your brand and to these specifics. Once you're happy there, you can click get full screen link. And then this is our most distraction-free sharing experience. So when you share this link with someone, it opens up in a new tab and the entire page is just dedicated to that piece of content. So it's a way more effective way than downloading as a PDF, sharing that via email, having someone having to download that to their device and open it up. It's just a better way to share your content. So now that we've created that full screen sharing link, let's take a look at some of these other options here. You can also embed that piece of content within your website. And as we've talked about earlier, Issuu is all about enabling anyone to do really effective marketing for any channel. And so this is one of the ways we do that. As you can see, the editor is very similar to the full screen reader. You can change that background color, start page or page layout, etc. And then just copy and paste this embed code onto your website builder of choice. So whether that's WordPress here, we have a WordPress specifics code, Squarespace, etc. You can just copy and paste that in. You don't need to know how to code. It is accessible to people of all backgrounds and experience levels. Again, you can easily find that QR code that's been created, which you already talked a little bit about for the sales or real estate use case or events. And then you can create a GIF as well, whether you want to export this to MailChimp or download it as a GIF or MP4 and share it out via social media. You can select the pages you want to include in that GIF. So it's a really easy way. All here, you can have created the full screen sharing link. You can embed that on your website. You can create a QR code and you can share it as a GIF via email or social media. So already you've, from this piece of content that you've worked hard to create in Canva, you've shared it, through 4 different channels. It's on your website, you shared it via email, etc. So now we'll go back here, back to the same publisher workspace. And one of the last issue features I'll mention is this statistics feature. So as you can see here, because we have not shared this publication, we don't have any live stats, but I'll show you how you can actually access stats for all of your publications on the left-hand side. And then you can drill down to a specific publication and get pretty in-depth when it comes to the performance. You can see how many people are clicking on specific links, where people are reading your content from, and geographically where they're reading it from. But on the topic of stats, that'll actually bring us back into Canva, because this is one of the final features of our integration or our app within Canva, is that you can see stats for any of your published documents easily within Canva. So we'll go to just a random public, this still has 0 reads. We'll find a good. As you can see here, you can go into any of your published documents and see the number of reads, the number of impressions, the number of clicks on links within that publication, and the average read time. So if you are creating a piece of content and you want to kind of jog your memory and say, all right, how did this last publication that I created, how did that perform? You can go in and pretty easily see how that performed and then use that to make educated decisions as you're going forward. You're like, this one performed really well. Let's see what content we have in this publication and do more of that in whatever we're building now in Canva. And then the last feature that I'll mention is, we'll actually go home here. So let's say now you're working on another social post that is kind of a recap of some of the other content that you've already created in Issuu. Go to the Issuu app section here, and then you can go ahead and add in images from any of your prior Issuu documents into whatever you're creating now. So whether you just want to add the title of this content here, you can go ahead and do that, or you can add this image in here, or if you want to create, choose images from any of these pages, you can add that in there. So it's a great way to then make additional use of any of the content that you publish in Issuu. And I should add that you can do this not just with this piece of content that we publish through Canva right now, but any of the content that you already have within your Issuu account. So it's a great way to kind of repurpose that content you've already shared. Which brings us to kind of the end of our full demo here. So we've gone from, as we were talking about, getting that inspiration within Canva, moving that over into Issuu, sharing that to a variety of sources. And then, once you've shared that, coming back a week later and checking how that's performing, looking at the stats within Canva when you're creating new content, it just kind of brings you full circle into that creation, sharing, analyze process. And so we'll hop back over here. Again, this is just a refresher of what we covered in the live demo. And to talk a little bit about these enterprise and teams features that both Issuu and Canva have. So Warren, do you want to maybe walk us through some of the capabilities included within Canva for Teams or Canva Enterprise?
Yeah, so Canva for Teams has been available for several years now. This is really kind of tailored towards collaborative workflows, right? That kind of team collaboration, having that brand kit where you can kind of share that brand, make sure you're staying on brand. And just this past May at Canva Create, we kind of relaunched an enterprise above that. And this is really tailored towards larger teams, multiple teams kind of sharing various different brand kits, within a larger organization. So hundreds of users, small teams within that who want to kind of have maybe their own individual brand kits, their own individual rules and permissions associated with how those are being shared and used. So again, very similar to like what we've been talking about in terms of like what Canva's trying to do around redesigning work. It's really all about like making sure that your brand is, or your company, your employees are staying on brand, simplifying their workflows, simplifying how they can collaborate, and just making sure that content creation process is fast and easy.
And kind of the flip side of that, here at Issuu, we've also more recently launched our Teams feature, which enables larger teams, like Warren was saying, whether you're kind of a mid-sized business or a large organization, to centralize your content library, control your brand identity, and really valuably manage your teams and projects in a variety of workspaces. So even like we were talking about with the real estate example earlier, or if you're a larger company or a larger events company and you're doing a variety of events, you can have workspaces for each of those events, or you can have workspaces for each of your global offices. So it's a great way to organize and really control the visibility and how your team's functioning more efficiently. And that is it for the main chunk of our presentation today. I know we covered a lot, everything from kind of diving into specific use cases, looking at examples, to a full demo. So Audrey, I'll ask you now, do we have any questions that are still unanswered, or even can you to refresh some of the questions that you've already answered via chat that you liked?
Sure thing. A common question that came up throughout the presentation, guys, and thank you for that, is do you have to have a full subscription for either Canva or Issuu to utilize the integration?
Great question. And no, you can use this both with the free version of Issuu and the free version of Canva. So I know we were just talking about some of these teams and enterprise plans that we both offer, but no, this integration and the app is available to everyone, even if you're working completely for free on both Canva and Issuu, which is something I do love about this integration. It's accessible for any type of user.
Yeah, and same on the Canva side. The Issuu app will be available for free users. You just won't have as many templates. You won't have access to maybe all of the Magic AI capabilities. Those are for pro teams and enterprise users.
Vanessa wants to know, she wants to create a real estate home brochure for each of her home sellers. Can she make a digital version as well as have a print-ready version to hand out to her prospects?
Yes, that's definitely a yes. And I know for industries like that, it's helpful to have both. So you can, pursue that digital version through Issuu, and then print out those physical copies as well. And if I'm correct, is there a feature within Canva that helps facilitate that? I'm not sure if I have that correct.
We have print-on-demand services. It's not like basically like, print in an hour type of services, but you can have it printed out and have it, expedited shipped to you in a few days.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because I know a lot of industries want to have both copies, and I've talked with a lot of even Issuu users. For many people who've started fully or they've done print for many years, and then they begin to explore digital, and then within a year they've moved entirely over to digital just because it's so much more cost effective. But yes, both are definitely available. Good question.
This has come up a couple of times, but Melinda wants to know, do the designs, no matter where they are shared, meet ADA guidelines? So I guess this is applicable to both Canva and Issuu.
It's a great question. Audrey, do you want to speak on that, on the Issuu side of things?
Sure. On the Issuu side of things, depends on the reader that you are consuming the content on. We are making improvements constantly on a daily basis on improving our ADA compliance. There are things that we are enhancing, the color blocking, text, how that's presented, how the pages interact, and how you scroll. So there are elements of our reader that are, yes, definitely ADA compliant. And there are other functionalities where we are currently improving those functionalities. It's a day-to-day thing. So check in with us when you're ready to publish and we can go over what's current.
And it's a similar story on the Canva side. A lot of the Canva application is ADA compliant, but not everything. We're constantly working to improve that and make sure that it meets all of the ADA requirements and specifications, but we're not fully ADA compliant.
I know it's definitely, I feel like this is a topic that's come up in multiple meetings I've been a part of lately. So it's definitely something that I know we're focused on, improving and making even better.
And let me see. Can you control how many times an individual can use the link or download a document?
Oh, great question. I know on Issuu, it's kind of a toggle on and off. So you can either make it available for download or not available for download. However, I will mention one of the things that we didn't get into on the Issuu side of things is we do have a digital sales feature, which enables you to actually sell your content, and it's commission free. We facilitate that through Stripe. So you can set a price or set a subscription for your Issuu content, and then people can go ahead and purchase that as they would like.
And then I just want to acknowledge there are a ton of other questions that we will get back to you individually on. But the last one is, will this recording be available? And how soon after this webinar will it become available?
Yes, it will definitely be available. And it'll be available very shortly. I'd say probably within the hour. So you'll get the recording and the slides. And there's a few links in here, like even on the last slide, you can click in to learn more about the team's plans, et cetera. Or click into some of those Issuu documents as inspiration that we shared earlier. But yeah, great. Thank you for fielding those questions, Audrey. And as Audrey mentioned, we'll answer any questions we didn't get to via email or after the live webinar. And that brings us to the end of our webinar today. Warren, I want to say thank you again for joining us. It's always great to chat and learn more about what Canva's doing, and then talk a bit about this continued integration and this partnership between Canva and Issuu.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. It's always been a pleasure working with you, Thales, and Issuu as a development partner. You've been fantastic to work with.
Great. Likewise. Thank you again, everyone. Have a great rest of your day, and keep a lookout for this recording. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.